Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Paris hotel room at about 3 p.m. English on Saturday. They're racing at Longchamp today, where the ground is a bit testing. The rain has come, so all possibility of any really good going has disappeared. I'm going to talk you through the 5 races on the Arc Undercard, the other 5 big Group 1s. Amazing, isn't it? 6 Group 1s on a single day. I can't think anywhere else in Europe that does that. It's a massive day, and let's kick off with the Prix Marcel Boussac. At the top of the market, you've got Diamond Necklace for Coolmore Mob, Aidan O'Brien. 6-4. But this feels short enough for me. Everyone seems to be very excited about this filly, and she's short in anti-post markets next year. Given the connections, it's understandable. But she won a maiden, and yes, she won her last race going away. But I'm really not sure what was behind her in the Irish Group race. The second was beaten 13 lengths in the Rockfell Stakes. The 6th was beaten 10 lengths by Dorset, and sort of sales race in Ireland next time. So we don't actually know if she really achieved anything, or at least not to the degree that makes her 6-4. So I don't get it. I'm against her for purposes. This could well be wrong. They don't usually send a bad one to the Boussac, but I've known them send a few that haven't done the business, and I just don't think she's the right favourite. I think the favourite probably should be Green Spirit. Form figures of 1, 1, 1, 1. The last 2 are a Group 3 and a Group 2. Printed experience of Longchamp. Won at odds on last time. Still looking green. There's probably more improvement on this, and she's top rated on Timeform. In short, she's done more on the track than Diamond Necklace, and she's a slightly bigger price, so I think she's the better of the 2. That said, I'm not really into backing 2-to-1 shots, so I'll keep my powder dry for this because I prefer to play this market each way. In the middle of the market, and the next one in the list I think is far too big. Aileen, St Mark's Basilica filly. There's another one in here. Diamond Necklace is St Mark's Basilica as well. Now her figures are 2, 1, 3, 1. The last win was the Mayhill, which was good. Before that, the third was the Precise, which looks a lot better in the rear view mirror. And we also know from her second and fourth races, 2 wins, that she handles cut, which is what she gets here. So given that she's done as much as on the clock as anything else, and it's very difficult to compare on form what she's done, but it's not hugely dissimilar, although Timeform have her a bit behind the big 2. I just think 17-2 is too big. I'd be prepared to take a chance on Aileen. Slightly wide draw, but it's not a huge field. So yeah, in the Marcel Boussac for me would be Aileen. A couple of others on their track tomorrow might play well with. I mean, Ozone 11-1. The other Wertheimer filly. We just have 2 runs, 2 wins, so she falls into could be anything. The last one she won by 3.5 lengths. That was at Lyon, Paris, and eased close home. Who knows how good she is? It's not rated highly on the form front, but it's not a million miles behind. It was pretty slow on the clock, but in a sense, I don't think that was her fault the way that race was run. She really could be anything. I wouldn't put anyone off Ozone. I'd probably play her as well with Aileen actually each way. Other possibilities: Narissa 14s. Now she was second to Green Spirit last time out. Kicked 2 lengths clear, then faded. I just wonder if possibly on this ground with a bit more experience, she might better get closer. Or more to the point, of Green Spirit is the business, and if it win this easily, the horses that have finished behind her should perhaps be taken very seriously. So Narissa not out of this completely for 14s. Esner is interesting, 22-1 for Esner. Brian Meehan doesn't send too many horses over to Arc Weekend. Sent Rashabat to very nearly take the Lagardere last year. So a bit of a pointer here that this unexposed filly 2 wins to, nothing it wins, maiden and novice. But Sandown, soft ground, she's out of Starman, you would have thought a bit of better ground would be more her bag. Why is he sending in here? I think he thinks he's got something here. Esner. I had a little each way on Esner. The three outsiders, only one of any interest, really. Clear Chup. Now, she's had 7 runs, and she's been thrashed by Green Spirit once and was beaten 3 lengths by her last time. But at least that was a bit of improvement. That was her first start for Graffar, who she's now moved to. And she was slightly blocked in her run. 33s again. If Green Spirit is a monster and were to win this easily, if Clear Choke were to take a place, it would be a complete impossibility. She's 33-1. The other 2 are throwouts. Venosa appears to be the pacemaker for Diamond Necklace. Did the same in the listed race run by Diamond Necklace. So I don't expect anything from her, even in a year where pacemakers have been quite interesting to watch. And Bandai, I can't even read my writing for this outside. I did look at her, but 5th of 8. It's Green Spirit in that one of the Group 3s. The Green Spirit won, beaten 5 lengths in listed race last time out. Just toss them. That's the Boussac over a mile, whereas I edge Lagardere at the middle of the market, and I can leave the top of the market, but I much prefer Green Spirit to Diamond Necklace. Could be wrong about that, but I think there's a premium built into Diamond Necklace's price because of connections, and I'm never willing to pay a premium to back a horse. On to the other juvenile race, the Dare, the Jean-Luc Lagardere, so 2-year-old fillies now to 2-year-old colts. This one is over 7 furlongs, not a mile. Here again, you've got a Wertheimer sexy thing at the top of the market, although Green Spirit wasn't favourite. Night Time is currently at 5-2 for Christopher Head. Form figures of 2-1-1-1, the last 2 being listed in a Group 3. She's catching the eye. He's catching the eye. Everyone's quite excited about this horse. There was a break before the last run, so although he only won it by 3/4 of the length, you get the impression that was a prep run for this big day. I understand why the money's there and why this is 5-2. But there's another sexy French colt at the top of the market as well, and that's Raif for Francis-Henri Graffard, who's slightly higher time form rated and much more interesting, has been much more impressive on the clock. Less experience, just the 2 runs. 1-1, both at Deauville. Last time, winning by 2.5 lengths from Andab and Daytona. I don't think either has done anything particularly for the form since, but Raif is still definitely could be anything category. I slightly prefer him with the 2 at 11-4. I'm scratching my head whether to have a bet or not. This race is the least attractive of the 5. I'm talking to me from a betting perspective because I don't know which of the 2 the front of the market is going to be better, and there are other candidates in here. That's Raif at 11-4. 92 Puerto Rico. Now, for the O'Brien string to be, who won a Group 2 last time out, to be 3rd favourite is 92. It's quite surprising, really, except that when you look at Puerto Rico's form, generally you suspect he's a long way down the pecking order of Ballydoyle. And in fact, he really didn't look that good after 5 runs, looked quite exposed, until he made all and held off all comers in the Champagne Stakes. Doncaster, Gosden's Oxygen as close 2nd, made his move probably a bit late. And Gilwan, the Acomb winner, was too keen and was well beaten. Was that a leap forward? Time form had him top rated. Racing Post had him top rated. I'm a bit suspicious, I must say, but maybe the penny has dropped. The other thing he's going to face the first time is soft ground. So I think on those two grounds, I slightly doubt where this great improvement came from, and I'm not sure about him on softer ground. I'll swerve at 92. Time to turn. Charlie Appleby, Godolphin. Form figures 2-2-1-1. One of those seconds was being beaten narrowly by a bit of Spirit. We'll talk about in a minute. And one of those was beating a bit of Spirit. We haven't seen this one since July. The other thing he's done, by the way, is one of made by 10 lengths. It was clearly a very talented colt. I don't know why he's been off for a few months, but maybe he's a bit big. at eights. I don't know what to expect from time to turn. Closely tied in with a bit of spirit, same price. A bit of spirit. Yeah, 5 runs, 3 wins, 2 seconds. The seconds are to the aforementioned time to turn, and then 2 back to Morris Dance, a very exciting Godolphin prospect for the Gosdens, father and son. Solario last time out, a lot of people sort of want to knock that, because when 4 horses finish in a photo for a blanket finish, it's usually not indicative of terrific form. But the time of that was pretty good. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with a bit of spirit, other than to say that this one will give you presume, a run for your money, because he's a fighter, this one, and yeah, never been out of the 2. Another reasonable contender, I get it. Capacité for Jean-Claude Rouget, 12-1. Here, difficult to see what this horse is. He was a 3-length winner of a listed race at Deauville last time out. 4 figures of 2-1-1. I have no idea what was in that race. Made all. Maybe he could be anything. My time was very slow and just had my doubts. And probably priced about right. Possibly, if I would have a bet, it would be to back Vardif for Graffard in the second Aga Khan colours. This is great news for me, of course, because it means I don't get Barcelona on board. I don't care for. I get Clément Lecoeuvre. This is a good young jockey, no problem there. It's quite interesting. 4 figures 2-1-3. He was 3rd in the Prix de Rochette, which I think was the race run by. Excuse me, I can't actually remember if it was the night time or the race. So he was a length and a half beaten, but he was last in a slowly run race. It was behind night time. That's right, Prix de la Rochette. I just wonder if in a faster paced race on softer ground, Dan was a sort of soft ground stare after Nathaniel. I just wonder whether Vardif might get a bit closer. And I just thought 16s was a little big, so I might have a little each way on that. But again, small stakes advised, if anything. The outsiders are really throwouts, so I won't even bother mentioning them. So yeah, Jean-Luc Lagardere, you've got 2 at the top of the market, the 2 French. Market's finding difficult to split them. 5-2, nighttime, 11-4 Raif. I slightly prefer Raif personally, just because I've done more on the clock. But maybe after a couple of beers at Longchamp tomorrow, I'll have a bet on Raif. But he might be favourite by then, so I might have to think about that before then. Otherwise, I might have a little bit on time to turn. Who might have a lot more to give on the outside of Vardif. So that is the Jean-Luc Lagardere. The Prix de Foret, the Prix de l'Abbé, which is the next Group 1, the 3rd race on the card. I'm going to go for in rapid fire, and I'll do this rather differently. Do it rapidly because it's a sprint, and sprints can be a bit random. I don't think intense horse by horse analysis is going to be very useful. I'm going to do it in draw order because the Abbé is one of the great historic draw biased races, and some races you see it. Racecourses can, because of watering or whatever's happened on the day or in the run up, there can be occasional draw biases, but this 5 furlongs at Longchamp is just full on. You want to be drawn low, and it's not impossible to run from high, but the odds are absolutely stacked against you. And in a 19 horse field, for example, Rayevka, who I really quite liked for this race, actually drawn 19 and 19 and she completes throughout, and she's still single figures, has hardly drifted from 7s to 8s. It's like she should have doubled in price with that draw, in my view. So yeah, so starting from the rail, and I think it's worth listening, not to what I'm rambling about with my thoughts by each horse, but the order I take them in, because basically the ones I mentioned first have the greatest draw advantage. So in a sense, they're really ones to think about just from that alone, even if you don't agree with what I say. I do like Monté. I like Monté all season. 2 good wins in France. 8th of 20 at Ascot, but I suspect good to firm ground was no good to her there. I think she's got to run well. She's got Pontos in 2. Pontos, you can be damn sure was going to lead at the first furlong, the second furlong, third furlong, probably the fourth furlong. It might have run around a bit longer, but Monte gets a good draw into the race. So yeah, she's got to have a good chance. Short-ish, isn't it? 6-1 in a 19-horse sprint. I know that, but I'd be pretty surprised unless she was blocked in her run. I'd be very surprised if she didn't get in. Is it the 5 that Sky Bet are offering? Anyway, yeah, Monte pretty solid, although short price and sprint is never really appealing, is it? Pontos, you're getting 33s. Pontos, the old boy, he's been around for years and he often fades, but sometimes he hangs around quite late. And in this race, with trouble in the running and you want to be on the rail, and you can say one thing about Pontos, he's not going to have trouble in running unless he completely blows the brake, which is not what he tends to do. So you can get a run for your money, and you have a 33-1 shot, probably leading with a furlong to go. I've had a little each way on him at 33s. I just thought that was a bit big, but I do expect him to fade and I don't expect him to win. As for in 3, the ground has gone against her. She's still a shortish price. She's still favourite, actually, at 11-2, although she's drifted a bit. She's still favourite on the basis of, the fact that we know on fast ground she's a proper Group 1 filly who can beat the Europeans, particularly a weak bunch that we've got at the moment. But not even with a good draw, I don't like unless it turns to dry out significantly to good ground, which looks unlikely at the time of writing. Frost have drawn 10-1 in 4, good draw. It's come for money today, single figures in many places. I don't think she wants the cut though. I think she's a fast ground filly, so I was keen on her, and a bit more rain has come off this morning after they published the ground, having already softened. And so I've gone off Frost draw. Magira, same thing applies in a way, but this one I think is really classy, and I wonder if she might be good enough, certainly for a place. But are they giving any away at 10-1, given that she hasn't got the fast ground she really clays, and she can miss the break? And if you miss the break in the Abbey, it's like being drawn wide because you've got to find a way through, and it's a bit of a nightmare, a bit of a coffin slot position to have. So reluctantly pass on Magira. Ain't No Body. Form figures 906-200. What chance has he got here? No chance, except on that 5 furlong Nunthorpe 7. Where did that come from? I don't know. Rattling fast ground. Can you reproduce it in Paris on soft? Be amazing, wouldn't it? But you're getting 40-1 and he's quite well drawn. 7-1, still okay draw. She's quality. I like this. I like this filly. I like her in this race. I like her with this draw. I like her with this ground. I like everything about this filly. She's full figures this year is 2-2-2-2-0-4. She's been running a lot of the top sprints. 4th in the Flying 5 last time, not beaten far. Blew out at York for no reason, no show. I'll forgive any horse better run at York. She's one I expect to run well. I backed her. McGarry in 8, no hoper. Jawal, 3-year-old Czech horse who's in the form of his life, seems to be getting better. Still don't think he's in the class of about a dozen of these. So reluctantly pass. He's 40s. If he starts going to 66s or stuff, who knows? I might have a nibble. Afghan I like. Now we're starting to get slightly wide. 10 of 19. Really, really like this horse. He's very talented, even if he's got slightly his own way of doing things, his own way of thinking. One last time out, beat Havana Anna, by the way, who then followed up by narrowly going down in, I can't remember what group race it was, a week or 2 ago, when a lot of money came for her. Afghan surely must run well. He's done it on the clock. He's being a 2-year-old, he's going to get about 27 stone from the rest of the field, well, stone and a half. And yes, that's my other big play in here, Afghan, after she's quality, with Monte having to run well. I backed her into post, but she's got a bit shorter now, but she must run well. Those are the big 3. Of the others are the outside draws. Got to mention Night Raider, for all that he's only ever won on all weather and always been beaten on turf. He's been running well. He was only beaten a length and a half in the Flying 5. I don't know if this guy handles cut. All his recent turf form has been on good sort of fastnish ground. But of course, you don't need to worry too much about getting him a run from 11 out of 19 because he will, vie with Pontos probably for the lead. He'll surely be leading the outside horses. So I imagine a clear run and maybe he'll drift towards the rail and get a good pitch. Not impossible, Night Raider. He's one I'll sort of protect on Betfair or probably more with the PMU. I'm not sure the French will go from when they look at his full figures. Star of Lady, whatever it is, 66-1. No. Against the wind, handicap, no. Now we're into the big draws. 14 out of 19 JM Jungle. Really quite interested in this horse, 5 furlongs with cut. Won the King George after all with those conditions. It's a bad draw. He's up with the pace. Can he make his way across? Don't know. He's the only one of the really wide ones that I think, oh, hang on, that's not impossible. Should run well. Sky Majesty, Hager said if she gets a good draw, she could run well, but she's got a pretty dreadful draw, 15-19. Wasn't so good last time, but has looked good at times this year. She was poor in the head-up sprint cup. She kind of flopped, didn't she? When she was supplemented, I think. Romstar's run well this year, usually on faster ground. He's got a dreadful draw, I'll pass. Washington Heights, I think it's really quite a good sprinter. And I can see on his day, he might take a big one time, but I expect he'll be on fast ground, and I don't think it'll be on drawn 17 and 19 here. But 40s, I suppose it is big, but First Instinct, 14's horse in form, fully in form for Haggis. Really interesting, was right on my shortlist for this. Then she drew 18 and 19. She's a throwout. And Raevka might be the most talented sprinter of the lot here. I think 5's a bit short. Maybe with a bit of cut, that becomes doable, but still 19 out of 19. She'd have to be a superstar, and I don't think she is. So that is the summary of the Abbey. I'm with She's Quality. I'm with Afghan. Monte Anti posted, and I'll watch for the price of Night Raider on the PMU. Should be a good fun sprint. Then we're on to the last two big group ones the day after the Arc. The first thing I think you've got after the Arc is, was it before the Arc? You've got the Arabian race, which is sort of a waste of time for the flat racing purists. You have to wait an hour and a half between races, but still, it's just going to be my lot tomorrow. So I'll have another beer between races. The Opera. You've got to see the fire at the top of the market, 11-4. I don't get that. I don't think she really wants soft ground. She's a Group 1 filly for sure, and she's looked third in the Prince of Wales this year. Is great form. Won Middleton by 12 lengths at York. It was sort of breaking the clock at the same time. That was an absolutely amazing race. When soft's been in the ground, I don't know, has she ever won on soft ground? I'm not absolutely sure. I expect her to run well. I can see why she's towards the head of the market. I want no part of her favourite 11-4. I'll pass. Tamfana was much keener. I'm going to start doing my notes for this. She's kind of 11-2. Now there's been a move for her, probably because of the rain, 4-1. Group 1 some Chariot last year, beating Inspiral and See the Fire, indeed. She's really, really good on her day. This one, of course, famously lost the 1,000 guineas because she couldn't get a run. And David Munizier is now in his stables in form. First time he's been in dreadful form earlier in the season into the summer. But just looking at his 3 winners in his last 10 runners. My only doubt for Tamfana, apart from the fact you're taking a short price, is not sure going fresh is quite her angle. You'd imagine he'd have a massively prep for this Group 1 first time out, but maybe it's a case of if she runs well and comes third, it's like I'll find out in the comments where she's going Champions Day, because she might be better for the run. But I was tempted to play her, but she's got too short for me, not having a run. But much preferred to January, 15-2. She's been a really good 3-year-old miler. She's been knocked a bit for not getting it done, but she didn't get it done against Fallen Angel, who's just won yet another Group 1 this afternoon, and Cinderella's Dream, who on her day is a really good horse. My worry about her is, apart from the fact she was poor in the main trainers, I don't think soft ground is her bag. And that's what she's got. And they're taking up to 10 furlongs for the first time. And in soft ground, it's completely different, asking completely different questions. And she's had quite a few hard races, I think. So I'm completely against January. She could make me look very foolish by saying I really don't think she's got a chance at anything close to her odds at 15-2. By contrast, we might take DeLong away. I think has got a big chance. Obviously, a horse that gets close to Mini Hawk. Has got to be taken seriously. Whirl is the only other one this season who's got close to Mini Hawk. So what's not to like? When she gets cut, she's really good, and she's good at get cut. So that's why I think you can forgive. Perhaps she was only fourth, for example, over 10 furlongs to Whirl. I think it was a pretty poly, wasn't it? But that was faster ground than she's like to get tomorrow. She's a threat, and I can see her sort of I can understand why she'd be vying for favouritism. If I was a bookmaker, I'd have her right down at the bottom. 4 places, I'm sure you can get on this race. I didn't actually look before. Maybe someone going 5. How can we might take DeLongway not run well? Solid. Barnavara, when I don't know what to do with, 10 to 1. She was simply brilliant last time out. But where did that come from? I mean, none of her other runs this year gives her a chance, a prayer of placing in this race. And then suddenly that Group 2 at Leopardstown, she wins by 3.5 lengths from One Look, who's further down the betting. If that can be taken as face value, if this is just a filly getting better, then she's got a good chance, and maybe she could do this from the front again, 10 to 1. I wouldn't put you off. Can you quite believe that run after what's fairly a different run of form before that? I'm not so sure, but yeah, possible. Nicarani is the the German horse in the race, German Oaks winner. Maybe it's always dangerous to dismiss German horses when they come to Longchamp. Memories of Daydream and Torquato Tasso, of course, and needs more than she's got, but needs to pull out more than she's on the paper done so for. She won the German Oaks and Garden of Eden. The Ribblesdale winner was well beaten. Didn't hated the ground, obviously, but not sure what else she beat there. She's been running against basically her own German kind. We don't know how that translates, but a Group 1 at Longchamp with the best of the English, Irish, French, even if it's not a vintage opera, I'm a little doubtful. So 12 feels short enough. Grand Stars possible. Yeah, Gerald Mosse remembers a jockey now training and doing a good job of it. See the Stars, Camelot, filly. She's running 5 group races since the start of 2025. Second to Aventure, second to Goliath, third to Quisisana. She's been placed behind some good horses. So I think she needs more to win, but I can't remember if you get 5 places, but it would be no surprise to see this one placed at all. She's been running well and she's kind of off the radar. But as I say, if you're just finishing behind Aventura and Goliath and Quisisana, you're smart. So Grand Stars 14's probably overpriced. I'll have a little each way on that. One Look, Paddy Toomey, take him seriously. This guy for sure. He's got an amazing strike rate. Won a couple of Group 3s in last year. Why was she beaten 3.5 lengths by Varnavara last time out? That was quite weird. Second half a length just to Porta Fortuna, who's obviously a crack type before. I think she's been retired now, hasn't she? Maybe the Varnavara race was after a break, so maybe One Look will improve. But yeah, probably I feel she's against it, and 14s feels short enough. The outsider I like is Start of Day, 20 to 1. 5th in this last year. I think she's better with Dig. I think she's got some bad races, sort of throw-out races where you can discount it because of the ground. She was third to Fallen Angel. It's her only good race this year because of the ground, I think, and that was in the pre-Rothschild. It was probably fast enough, but she was only narrowly beaten by Ombudsman on soft last year, and that was last year's Ombudsman, not this year's Ombudsman. But Start of Day, who I know those of you who follow these videos, they put up as an each way play in the Rothschild, and she got the money at a big price there, 25 to 1. So I can see her running well again. I backed her. And if she drifts, I might back her again. I think she's the best of the outsiders. She might not be good enough to get into the 4 or 5 order you need to do to get your money back to place, but I don't think the chance of her getting to place is getting places sort of 4 to 1 or whatever they're pricing it. So Start of Day is my interesting outsider. Quilling Queen, 28 to 1. No, they really want good firm ground. I think they might pull it for this. And being beaten 25 lengths by Mini Hawk last time out on said favoured ground is hardly inspires. It was a Group 2. A Group 2 she won this year was at Longchamp, was over this course in midsummer, but it was on faster ground. And as I say, I don't think she wants this. Royal Dress is a decent G3 type. Has been thrashed whenever she's been Group 2 or Group 1, and I won't be playing her. Merveilleux Lapin, the Marvellous Rabbit, is the 66 to 1 outsider, and the only reason to back that is its magnificent name. On to the final race, the Prix de Foret. Go through this quite quickly. I don't like the top of the market at the prices. I do like the middle of the market, and there's the odd outsider I like it. I don't like the top of the market because More Thunder is favourite at 9 to 4. More Thunder, what a story of the season. What an amazing horse, winning handicap after handicap. Should be 5 runs unbeaten, but for coming from miles back at that Woking or whatever the big handicap was. Hungerford, great winner of that on the clock. Very impressive. But almost all of this, apart from the first run of the season, has been on fast ground. And I'm not having him at 9-4 on slow ground, having drawn 16 or might be 16 of 16. I mean, he's right on the outside. And that's not good over 7 furlongs at Longchamp. It's not. It's probably not as bad as being 17 at 17 over the Abbey Sprint. I'll give you that. But no. This is far too short, given the ground question mark and given the poor stall position. Nope. Zaragana, I'm also against. A French Guineas winner, second in the Coronation. She's got a decent form in the book. She's getting a nice 3-year-old weight allowance. I get it. 11-2, just dropping her back to 7 furlongs, the first time since debut, and now back on much slower ground than she's had in her good runs this year. It's been proper fast ground, her two last runs. There's just questions there, and I don't want to take an 11-2 shot in a 17-horse field filly against colts and older horses. With those questions, I just don't. So I'm against Zaragana as well. I'm reluctantly against Sajir. That he makes me nervous because he was a brilliant winner of the Maurice de Geest. I mean, brilliant. I mean, he cruised past Lazat to win that and didn't look to be any fluke about it at all. Fabre has always rated him. What are the negatives? He's not always winning at Chantilly and Deauville. Lots of 1-1-1s around those tracks. He's 3-5-2 at Longchamp. He was thrashed here by Top Gear earlier in the season on good soft ground. She's probably a bit faster, probably English good actually. But does he want soft ground? That Maurice de Geest was on fast ground. He's got some form on soft, but he's also blown out on soft and been heavily beaten. Plus 13 of 17, no. Sajir reluctantly no. So that's top 3 in the market basically against. Mario Erner Charlie, I backed. He's 13-2. He's shortening now. Can't see him not running well. I think he's run brilliantly in his last 2 Group 1s, even better than they looked, particularly the City of York Stakes. Didn't quite get a clear run. Back to soft ground, no problem. Probably prefers it. He's got a great draw in 4. Will make his own luck as anyway, running sort of an advanced position. I'd be really surprised if Marino Charlie didn't run very well. I don't think he's my idea of the most likely winner, or certainly the best bet at the prices. Those at the top of the market. So I have backed Marino Charlie. Rochebar, an improver at 4. He's won his last 3. Now he's up against the big boys. We'll have to see if he's good enough. 12-1. Arc number 2. One gets to the curve again. Not impossible. The Foret often does go to sort of, I don't know, an upcoming type at a sort of decent price. So Rochefort kind of fits that bill in my mind. 12s, also 12s, Top Gear, and I backed this horse the last 5 times it's run, and it's been good. Sometimes it's been disastrous, like in the QE2 where he blew out on fast ground. But I think Top Gear is top class. He gave Sajir a spanking earlier in the spring with a bit of dig. So I think he can go well again. Had a break. 12-1 just seems too big. And the third of the middle ones I like is exactly 16-1. I'm very surprised because I think if you look at her form and break it into fast ground and non-fast ground, she's really, really good, and she's shown up every time on soft ground. 5 Group 1s this year. I think she's run almost every time, apart from when she did too much on very rattling fast ground in the Coronation Stakes. By the way, she almost won the Marcel Boussac last year. She probably would have done it had him in 7 furlongs. She was only overtaken in the last sort of 80 yards. Surely she must run around. This is each way bet. She's got lovely draw 3 of 17. 16, good price. Witness Stand, horrible draw. But he's excellent in the last 2. The Lennox was no fluke. He was second to More Thunder then, wasn't he? Winning the penalty. So I like Witness Stand. Then he drew that and I went off him. I also wonder about soft ground. I might have a couple of pennies on the PMU. I think it could be a really, really, really decent price. But I don't know, could be wrong with that after all with a G2 win and a second to More Thunder. Perhaps that's fanciful. Geography, 4 Group 3 wins in Germany, 1 Group 2 win in Germany, second to Coudoir over a mile here. I I think not good enough to win this. We'll probably go forward. We'll stay out of trouble. Might run well for a long while. Long way. Couldn't get there at 25s. Godspeed. I've had a little each way on at 33s. 8th, 13th in the French 2000, had an absolute horrid draw, had no chance that day. I think there's a bit of class there. 4th to Fallen Angel and the Rothschild. I think soft ground could be a changing fact in Godspeed's favour. I think he's a sneaky one as an outsider to get in the prices. 10 Bob Tony might be another interesting one because he's got a bit of cut. 33s for a horse who beat Kinross earlier this year over 7 furlongs. Looks big to me. Second to Top Gear at Longchamp last September 24. Why was he so bad last time in the Park Stakes when he had a bit of dig cut underfoot? I don't know, but 10 Bob Tony got a good draw, could run well. Exeter's badly drawn and not good enough. King's Gamble. Runner-up G2 and G3 last 2 races, but to Marvelman and Rage of Bambi, is that going to win this Prix La Forest? Surely not, unless it's in Beckett We Trust. In Beckett We Trust will be the same point for Zoom, who's the outsider, but none of his wins can win that. Devil's Point, I just looked at slightly before rejecting. 80-1. What the German Guineas last year, then flopped in a Group 1 in France. Maybe the Jean Prat, can't remember what it was, or maybe it was the French 2000. And he was last in his only start this year. Came back recently, but he was a good horse. 80s, who knows? On that point, I will leave you to go and watch the Prix, whatever it is, at Longchamp. Good luck tomorrow. It's a big day, and thanks for joining. If you like this, I don't know what this like business means, but by all means do subscribe. These are good for numbers apparently. Sorry, bit of a dinosaur. See ya.